Houses 5 through 8 cover the parts of a life people rarely explain out loud: creativity and romance, daily work, committed partnership, and deep transformation, the kind you don't usually bring up with someone you just met. Here's what each one actually covers. This channel teaches you to read your own real chart, one piece at a time. Last video covered houses 1 through 4, you, your resources, how you communicate, and where you come from. Today we pick up exactly where that left off with the next 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Like every house, House 5 is a life area, not a personality trait. This one is self-expression. Creativity, romance in its lighter, dating and attraction sense, hobbies, and children in the classic texts all live here. Anything you do because you want to, not because you have to, tends to show up in this house. It's also tied to self-esteem, and not the way people usually mean that word. Not how others see you, but how confident you feel putting yourself out there in the first place. House 6 is maintenance, your routines, your habits, the tasks you handle every day, and your physical upkeep, including things like diet, sleep, and exercise. If House 5 is where you play, House 6 is where you show up and do the repeated work that keeps everything else running, the unglamorous stuff nobody posts about. Together, Houses 5 and 6 are your everyday. 5 is what you do because you want to, 6 is what you do because it needs doing. Day-to-day well-being tracks House 6 more than people expect. House 7 sits directly across the wheel from House 1, and that's not a coincidence. House 1 is you alone. House 7 is you in relation to someone else, marriage, a business partner, any committed one-on-one agreement. Older astrology texts file open rivals and formal contracts here too, which comes down to the same theme. Anyone you're bound to by an agreement, good or adversarial. Then there's House 8, and I want to correct something up front. You'll see it called the House of Death all over the internet, and that's a scary oversimplification. What House 8 covers is shared resources, combined finances, debt, inheritance, taxes, essentially other people's money, as opposed to House 2, which is what you earn on your own. It also covers psychological depth, real intimacy, and the parts of yourself you don't show casually. Death shows up historically because transformation and endings are cousins, not because this house predicts anything literal. Let's put this on a real chart. We're back with Maya, the same chart from video 1, Sun in Pisces, Moon in Cancer, Rising in Aries. In her chart, House 5 begins in Cancer, House 6 begins in Leo, House 7 begins in Libra, and House 8 begins in Scorpio. None of that tells us what will happen to Maya's love life or her finances. A house cusp's sign just colors how that life area tends to get approached. House 5 opening in Cancer, a sign about emotional safety, suggests creativity and romance that lean protective and nurturing rather than showy. House 6 landing in Leo, a sign built for being seen, hints at work and routines Maya would rather not do quietly. House 7 opening in Libra, the sign literally about balance and partnership, sits about as comfortably as that house can. House 8 opening in its own sign, Scorpio, runs about as deep as that house gets because depth is native territory here, not something imposed on her. That's a pattern to notice, not a prediction to bank on. Here's the useful move. Pull up your own chart the same way you did for your big 3 and your rising sign in earlier videos. Find what sign sits on your 5, 6, 7, and 8, and see if it matches how you handle creativity, work, partnership, and change in real life. You'll probably recognize more than you expect, especially in whichever of these 4 houses just felt the most familiar. If House 8 makes more sense now than the Death House ever did, a tap on the like button helps this reach people searching for the same answer. Even a house this heavy-sounding isn't a warning label, and neither is any other house in your chart. A chart is a mirror, not a prophecy. It shows you patterns and tendencies worth recognizing. Not events, it's forecasting for your future. Transformation is a normal, survivable part of every life, chart or no chart, and House 8 sitting in your wheel doesn't change that. So House 5 is creativity and romance. House 6 is daily work and routine. House 7 is committed partnership. And House 8 is shared resources and transformation. Heavier themes, not doom. Next video, we close out the wheel with the last 4 houses, 9 through 12, including the 2 that shape your reputation and your inner world. Subscribe so it shows up for you. The chart in this video was generated in Mystical Manak. Free link in the description. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.